everybody. This is Chris from Tiny Home Tours. He is like the one that everybody watches when they're trying to get ideas of their fantasy vehicles, right? Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the not deserved intro. I appreciate all the kind words, Badge, and Paula, I appreciate you having me on. It's an honor to be here. But yeah, I mean, I guess I should start out with my buses, the channel, everything I do is with collaboration with people. So it just wasn't me, myself. I've definitely surrounded myself with some very talented people that help me out. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
I am just in awe. Oh my gosh. How long have you been doing this? Like, you started your channel in like 2009. Were you putting videos out right away then?
Just here and there. So YouTube actually started, I had my very first van that I got when I was still in college. I bought it during the last couple of weeks of college, and then outfitted that with simple cabinets, put a futon mattress in the back, and just traveled around with my Husky for a while. And what got me started on YouTube, going back to that, is I made a short video that I put on my YouTube channel where I really wasn't doing much on it, just a bunch of random stuff. And that got some traction. And then that's what got me monetized on YouTube, where it was like a light bulb moment, where like I can do this tiny home van stuff and put it on the internet and actually make money for the road. And that was the genesis. I think I started the channel in 2009, started getting like posting more videos around 2011. So about 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many videos have you done? Do you even know? Like, you've got like almost 200 million views. Like, like, that's insane.
Well, I mean, it's the thing is, like, everybody's starting out right now, like they have a way better advantage of being successful creating videos online right now. A lot of my stuff was just shooting into the dark because there really wasn't much content out there. I really had no idea what I was doing. Where right now you can go to Casey Neistat, you can go to any of these vloggers, you can go to channels that are established and put your own spin on it, and then just continue. I mean, it's definitely a long game. You know, I was just chatting with somebody that's starting on Twitch, and they're like, I want the followers now. And I'm like, well, that typically doesn't happen. Like, you got to put the time in, you got to put the work in, and, you know, over time you have success. But for those willing to put the work and effort in, you're actually a huge advantage, because most people aren't willing to put the work and effort in to continue for the 1 or 2 years of not getting much back. Then you hit that inflection point inevitably, well, typically around, you know, the 1.5 to 2 year mark. And that's when you can actually start paying for your RV payment. That's when companies start reaching out to you. You know, like it's definitely a long game. It's not even a marathon. It's not even the mindset of a marathon thinking that there's an end. Like, you can't go into it thinking you're going to reach a certain goal and you're going to be, you know, content. Typically the people that are willing to put the 2 years in, 1.5 in, are the ones that have the perpetual student mindset, the people that like to get after it, the people that like to build, even if they're not necessarily getting paid for it, you know? So it's such a long game. And I was just lucky enough to get started early and have the drive and actually love the camper vans, love the school buses and tiny homes. And that's what kept me fueled with it throughout. I mean, right now I'm in the 7th Zep, which my second van was a Zep, and this is Zep 7 right here. And we're up to Zep 9, which is almost done in Kansas right now.
Wow. So you started a build before you started your channel? Like, what kind of happened as soon as you finished school?
So, like, when I first got in that first van, there, like, you didn't have iPhones, you didn't have the cameras. Like, it wasn't like you could have a camera in your pocket. Even the iPhone 1, like, it just came out. Like, my friend had one, and we always made fun of him because he called it an iPhone. It's like, dude, it's a phone. It's not an iPhone. It's a phone, you know? Like, just having this, like, I had like a Samsung D807 because I basically just kept buying those off eBay because I love that little phone. It's a little Samsung slide phone, and you could record maybe 3 minutes of video, and then it filled it. Like, recording yourself was not even something that I even considered. When I had the first van, YouTube wasn't anything that I considered. I bought a camera, my first DSLR, and just hit the road with my dog and just took pictures and made a book out of it. And it was just for friends and family. You know, it wasn't like an enterprise thing or anything like that. It was literally just something as a keepsake for myself, my friends, and my family.
So what were you going to do before you knew YouTube was going to take off?
So my 20s were just aberrant travel, really. So the semester before I graduated, I did my internship, and it was the most miserable experience of my life, working a 9 to 5. Like, I was making $20 an hour as an intern. This is 2008. The economy is crashing. I was making good money, and just like, I won't go deep into it because it's not important. I don't like talking about that internship. But it wasn't like the people there or whatever. Like, the people I worked with were cool. The job was an engineering job. I picked engineering for money and title, but like, I would get off work Friday and have a sick feeling in my stomach the whole weekend, knowing I had to go back to work Monday.
Yeah.
And they offered me like, hey, we'd like to have you on full time here. You'll make X amount of dollars, and you get 2 weeks off paid vacation. I was like, 2 weeks? You're saying I get 2 weeks out of the entire year to do what I want? And that was kind of a mindset shift of when I graduated college. I knew that I wasn't going to work. The plan was just to travel for a while and go back to grad school and do something with high school counseling, basically convincing younger kids that they could travel, that they didn't have to do the normal thing. That was the idea. And then when YouTube came along, it's like, well, I could document my travels, show people that this lifestyle is possible, that I'm doing it. And that was like the genesis, if you will, like the first nugget where my head was at back in the day.
And so what was your first build?
My first build was a 1995 Ford Econoline. It was it wasn't a high top like we know them today. It was like the soccer mom high top where you could stand in it, had that TV in the front and the big cushy seats in the middle. I just took those seats out, built extremely rudimentary cabinets, and it had like almost like a futon bed in the back that was electric that you could put down and just put a futon mattress on that. No fridge, no toilet. There was no YouTube videos. There was no articles I knew about. Like, I was so excited the first night that I left that I forgot my bedding and had to stop at a Walmart. And I was telling them what I was doing as I was checking out. And they're like, hey, you can actually park in the parking lot if you want. Like, I had no idea you could stay at a Walmart. Like, yeah. I was that new. And to this day, I can't eat Chef Boyardee because I ate it 3 meals a day. Like, I was and just another, like, I had $50 in my bank account and I had no idea how I was going to get home. And like, I was literally sitting outside of the Blue Ridge Trail in the Appalachians and it was foggy. I was like, am I going to spend $5 to go in there and maybe not see anything? Like, I literally sat outside looking at that for a half an hour. Like, but that was definitely born into fire. I'm really glad that it happened and I did it. And that was the first spark for me that I could actually do it. And I just got a question there. Do you still own Zep 1? Yes. One of my videographers is flying up to Alaska and picking it up and driving down to Kansas. We're going to do a lift on it. We're going to redo the interior, and I'll have Zep 1 till the day I die.
Well, one of the viewers definitely knows your numbers. You have 2,554 videos. Wow.
Yeah.
Were they always as good as they are now?
No, absolutely not. They were horrible. Yes, back in the day. I mean, cheesy music, shaky cameras, like, but again, it was more just born into fire. I was enjoying what I was doing. I was enjoying the feedback, and just going back to my previous point where I said, like, people have more opportunity now than I ever did early days, is I would be stoked for a 40 view video. And that's not an exaggeration, like 40 views after a week. And that was probably a year in, maybe six, anywhere from 6 months to a year. And I'd have some breakout videos, that would get maybe 400, 500 views, where now, you get a small niche, you collab with a couple people, within 2 or 3 months, you're at that mark, easily you can do that. So, yeah. Those watching, I don't know if your audience is necessarily looking for the mobile income or YouTube or any of that stuff, but the opportunity's there, and the creator market is only going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Companies are taking their money off traditional marketing and putting it into micro influencers is the big thing right now. You don't even have to have, 100,000 subscribers, 50,000. Like, if you have 20,000 dedicated subscribers, they're more interested in spending money with you than anybody else. I know we're kind of going off topic. We're
going wherever you want to go. There is a lot of creators here. Actually, if anybody is a channel creator, can you put a 1 in the comments just so that Chris can see how many of you are? Yeah, over half of the people here right now are creators, typically in the nomadic community to some extent, one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're an inspiration in so many ways to all of us.
Oh,
like,
no
I
doubt.
can't imagine.
No doubt.
I can't imagine building what you've built, right? You've created something that's all your own. Yeah, there's tons of ones in here. People that are creators learning from you.
Hopefully I can share some of the things that I've learned. But if you want to go back to chronological,
Okay.
you know, back in the day, I sold that van. That's how I got on YouTube. Like, first monetization, made 25 cents in the first month that I was actually monetized, and spent about
Me too.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I tell people today, like, oh, I wish I could make money on YouTube. I was like, you realize that first month I made 25 cents, but I spent at least 25 hours figuring out the camera, figuring out the computer, figuring out editing, figuring out music. Like, but the thing is, I was stoked to make a penny an hour because I was making money online. Like, I was making money from this magical little box that's in front of me. It's not this computer, obviously, but it was a computer, this magical little box that I pressed buttons, and all of a sudden money comes from it, from this thing out there called the internet. Like, it absolutely blew me away. It like gave me this feeling like, ooh, okay, I like this. I'm gonna keep going at this.
So what was your channel name at the beginning? Has it always been Tiny Home Tours?
So the first channel name was Tyler Durden 09. I'm a big Fight Club fan. Tyler Durden's one of my heroes. And that once I hit a certain amount of subscribers, I was able to change the name. Then it was Chris Travels. Then it was Chris and G Travels. Met a girl. We dated for a long time. And now, wow, it's hard to keep things chronological because it bounces to YouTube and back and forth. But basically what happened is I read a book called The 40-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And one of the principles that I implemented right away from that book was the Pareto 80-20 principle. So it basically states that 80% of your work produces 20% of the outcome that you want, or anything. Like, and it's universal, like whether it be finances, whether it be work, whether it be your time. Like, you spend 80% of your time to get a result that's 20% of your desired outcome. And what I realized from looking at the videos at that time, you know, when it was Chris and G Travels, is 20% of my videos, and it almost came down exactly. 20% of my videos were producing 80% of my income. And that was tiny home videos. So what I did is I rebranded that channel, like the original Chris and G Travels. It was about 100,000 subscribers. I rebranded that to Tiny Home Tours, started going with Tiny Home Tours, then restarted Chris and G Travels as a new channel, and then built that up. So that's how that came about.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Badge, did you want to say anything before I bring up the next guest with us?
Yes, I forgot. Sorry, I get a terrible memory. I forgot I invited another friend of ours. So the one I want Chris to mention is the rock on the ice thing. That was so cool, that video. He did that video and it just gone crazy. I don't even know what it is in views now. That one, Chris.
Okay, what is he talking about, Chris?
The rock skipping one. I think you're confusing me with the guy up in Alaska. Wasn't he a vlogger up there where he skipped the rock and then it went viral and everybody was killing his video?
Yeah, it was crazy. But bring the next guest up because it's going to be kind of interesting. Now, this place is going to go all to hell in a handbasket real quick.
Everybody, make sure you're sharing this out so our friends don't miss this. All right, you guys, here is Wes from Transcend Existence, which is a really tough name to say. Thank you very much. Hello,
everybody.
Hello, Wes. Look
Hello.
what I
What's up,
got,
dude?
Wes.
What's up, Chris?
Look at this, Wes.
Hey, that right there is going to look really good in my bug. You know that.
Don't you think so? That's exactly what I thought. Isn't that just the coolest thing you ever seen?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. That has got Volkswagen all over it.
Okay.
That's got Volkswagen all over it. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. Go ahead.
Wes, do you want to tell everybody quickly a little synopsis of what your channel's about?
Basically, you know, my channel hasn't gone so well lately just because I'm not uploading a whole lot. But I kind of just started my channel in the beginning just to kind of vlog my build of my bus named Transcendence. And then through that, it kind of took off pretty well. And a lot of people started asking me if I could come and help. And actually, I was in Colorado helping Chris on one of his on Zep 2 when I got a request to go to San Francisco. This was, man, what, 2 years ago, Chris?
When you came out to Jim and Debbie's,
2 years ago,
while you were introducing yourself, I went over the comments. Jim and Debbie are actually watching as well. Life is a joy bus.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, cool.
It's like a great big family on here.
This is a gang, I tell you.
Was
cool.
that was
it's really
2.5, 3 years ago, wasn't it, Wes?
I think so. I think it was. We were there in July. Because we were there for Fourth of July weekend, and there was a ban on shooting fireworks. But anyway, yeah, probably about 2.5 years ago, I guess, probably. But anyway, Chris, followed my videos and whatnot, and we asked me to come out and help him do some work on his deal. I guess I should back up a bit. How do I have it?
That's the problem I was having, man.
And just trying to get all the chronological
worry about the order, it don't matter.
Anyway, I guess I'll just keep moving forward. Chris asked me to come out. I was helping him in Colorado at Jim and Debbie's property, actually. And hi, Jim and Debbie, if you're out there watching. I don't know how you guys know that stuff, but anyway, I got a request from a guy in San Francisco named Helton while I was helping with Chris's build, and he asked if I could come help. And honestly, I was only planning on being out for about 2 to 3 weeks to help Chris, and then come back here to Wichita and finish the build of my bus and just prepping to hit the road eventually. But while I was already halfway, well, not halfway, but a part of the way to San Francisco, being in Colorado from here. And I said I didn't really have anything real pressing. So I was like, yeah, I could come and help you. So I ended up going to San Francisco after Chris's build. And turned out while I was there, another person hit me up in Washington. And that 2 to 3 weeks turned into 7 months on the road unexpectedly, just helping people. So it just kind of worked its way into me helping people on the road, raising roofs and doing metal fab for others. And so anyway, I kind of documented some of that stuff out traveling. Sorry, my phone's
That's okay. I was hoping it wasn't mine. I was like, where is it coming from?
Yeah, that's mine.
Like, a thing that has to be noted here, like right now, we got Jim and Deb down in the comments, and we got Wes here, and we got Chris here. These guys are almost the pioneers of the lifting of the roofs on buses. These are probably 3 of the best fabricators when it comes to buses right here. Like, you go to their channel and look at their buses, they're phenomenal. They're probably 3 of the best buses on the road. No doubt.
I've tried a few times to get Wes on here, and he's always like, "Oh yeah, yeah," and then I don't hear anything back.
He's right there.
I message him again. "Oh yeah, yeah."
He's right there.
I think you've contacted me twice. I'm just horrible with this kind of stuff. I really am. Ask Chris.
No, I'm glad you're here. I am so glad you're here. I appreciate it, you guys.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
Hopefully, this train going by. Actually, there's a train going by. I might have to mute. Is that too loud?
No, it's good. Oh wait, no, that is loud.
I'll mute.
That's all
Yeah,
right.
you do a lot of roof raises. I've seen a lot of that on your channel, Wes.
Yeah, I've done quite a few, and now Chris and I are kind of partnered up in a shop, and we're really pounding them out pretty good, and working on Chris's little fleet of Zeppelins, his little short buses that he's building up. So we've been super busy in the shop. Things are going really good, though. Got more work than I can handle most of the time, and just trying to schedule them in back to back as best as I can to stay busy. And just things are going really good. Super grateful for everything going on right now, for sure.
So
Awesome.
Sorry,
that was the
Bag.
big thing about getting these guys. Oh, sorry, Chris. That was the thing about getting these guys up here tonight, because I want to make sure that everybody knows that Wes has a shop in Wichita, and they got these guys. Like, everybody's saying, well, I want to build a bus, I don't know where to go. Well, there's two of the best builders right on the planet, right there. And then they got Richard there too. And if you want a bus built, them's the guys. I'll shut up again.
Well, thank you, Madge. I really appreciate that for sure. I just do the best I can for sure.
So I was going to mention,
you do a really good job.
Kind of backing up a bit. The reason why I ended up raising my roof, because I was 50-50 on raising the roof or not. And I bought the bus, and it just so happened that Wes was at a tiny home festival, and his bus was the first raised roof. And I had been talking to Jim and Debbie a little bit about coming up and seeing how much I could pay Jim to help me raise the roof on my bus. Mm-hmm. And I saw Wes's bus, and that's when I diverted going to Arizona and went straight up to Colorado to work with Jim and Debbie on raising the roof of my bus. So seeing Wes's bus is the reason why my bus has a raised roof right now.
Nice.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Chris, actually, just back up even further. Chris was kind of my inspiration into wanting to live this life. I followed him on YouTube forever, and I was like, man, I want to be like this guy, because he was traveling and doing stuff before a lot of people were. Mm-hmm. And it was really inspiring. And, through time, I'd comment a little bit on his channel here and there. Yeah, I'd comment on his channel just a bit here and there. But,
Yeah, go ahead, Badge. What's up? Much, but Chris doesn't say a whole bunch to people, and he tells it the way it is, but he doesn't force it. And a lot of people have done it because of Chris. There's no doubt about it at all, because you can talk to him. He's like, you sit by the fire and talk to him like he's your brother, and that's the way he comes across. Same as Wes. Like we sit in Squatterville around the fire and talk like we've been brothers for 30 years. It's amazing. Yeah. It's just totally amazing.
I want to ask you, what was it like when you first met Chris, though? Because you've been following him, and he was like an inspiration to you. Were you a little awestruck?
Not so much. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I've learned at a younger age, of course, just not to just treat people like they're people. Don't treat them like some superstar, because they're just humans. And so no, I don't think I've ever treated him that way. I was excited, of course, to meet him and everything, and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, he was kind of my inspiration for wanting to do this. And then as time went on, he hit me up and he's like, Wes, you've inspired me. I want to build a bus. What do I do? So it was kind of cool. The inspiration kind of went 180, and we built a great friendship and good partnership, with the things we're doing now, and we have a good time together for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty. Everybody. I was just going to mention real quick. When I was looking at this, not this bus, the Zep 2. I was looking at buses while I was up in Alaska, and I was sending Wes links like, what do you think about this one? What do you think about this one? And it was the Cummins 8.3 with the Allison 3060 that Wes suggested. That's the one that I went for and been bouncing around in for the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's a great bus. I think that's the king of all buses.
That's a cool bus. There's no doubt.
So we have a question. What did you have buses out there? What did you have for solar in the Zep 2, Chris?
Zep 2 has 900 amp hours, a Battleborn 3,000 watt Victron inverter, and 1,700 watts of solar.
Oh, that's all?
In a small town.
Oh, that just puts my shit to shame.
Well, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have like the social backup to work with companies. Number one, number two, know very knowledgeable people that help me install it, like Aaron Broccoli from Broccoli Bus.
It's
and
unbelievable.
Like I purpose built that bus to go out to the desert or the forest or wherever and just live off the grid for a month and a half. And is purpose built to have some bigger aspects, like the fresh water, 200 gallons of fresh water, tons of food storage, and then I have a tow car I can bounce around in as well. So it's basically like I'm just pot committed to this lifestyle. Like I tell people, and I like Wes hears me say this a decent amount, is I want to be living and traveling in that bus until I can't walk up the steps. Like I want that to be my home until I can't physically get in the bus. So I built it as such. It's a bit more of an investment.
Nomadic Rambler says these boys love my chili and cornbread.
Sharon's
Absolutely.
not playing fair. Chili and cornbread. Now we're talking serious food there.
And
Yeah.
Life is a Joy says a Chris quote. It'll take twice as long and cost 3 times as much as you think. Oh, that's the truth right there. That almost hurts, that one.
And also for everybody that's built a rig, built a bus, it's perfect enough. And if something messes up, it just adds character. If you accidentally cut something too short, it just adds character.
Oh, I'm full of character in here then.
You know, the good thing about Chris's bus, me with tools, is he has a snap-on toolbox underneath his bed. A great big, full-blown snap-on toolbox.
That's mine.
Yes.
That's my bus. Yeah.
Yeah, Wes. I say Chris. Oh, sorry. No, Chris is the one with the 50,000 watts of.
We look like the Brady Bunch in here.
I'm always pointing the wrong way. I can point up. That's easiest.
Yeah, for sure.
So Blind Views has a question. Chris, what's more important for content, quality or quantity? I'd say you're going to say quality, right? Because you put out some quality stuff. No?
I would say neither. I would say that it's subjective to the audience. You should do things the way you want to do that makes it more enjoyable for yourself, because that will be the catalyst for you to produce more and more content. Because here's the thing that I learned with that is you can put out something you think is 100% absolutely beautiful and people are going to love it and they hate it, and something that you don't like, that you just like. A perfect example is the last video went live on the channel. It was an older gentleman. He's a veteran. He's kind of a slow talker. A lot of the videos, him talking, where typically our videos that show a lot of the rig gets more views, where that video is now number 1 out of 10. And I thought for sure that video was going to do nothing. So I don't like, for me personally, I never try and put the content out there with my ego attached to it. I put it out there in like, I was thinking about this today, actually, because I was listening to an app called Clubhouse, and it's a lot of business talk and everything. And it's a fun game for me to put the content out there and see how it does. That's the most enjoyable part for me, is to put something out there and see how the audience reacts. To where right now my entire viewpoint on the content on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, it's all subjective to the audience. I don't attach my ego to it. So I would say neither is important. I would say creating it in a way that makes more sense to you, to make it so it's more gamified, more enjoyable for you as a creator.
Thank you for that. We have another question for you guys. Kevin with 30 and a wake up. He's grown a lot this year. He's up to, I think, 70,000 subs pretty much in the year. So now he's wondering, is there any tax related lessons learned when your channel starts producing more income?
Yes. Get a CPA. Don't trust the person that you had before. I had somebody run off on me. Didn't do my taxes for 2 years. It was the lady that's been doing my taxes since I was detasseling corn at 13 years old in Indiana. And as Wes knows, he saw some of the IRS letters. I was paying a lot of fees and a lot of taxes, to where, I was making great income, but it just immediately went to Uncle Sam. And I would highly suggest switching over to a CPA, pay the extra money, get a professional in there, somebody that has a good reputation. I have someone I work with right now. She's a CPA, and she works 100% with nomadic people. If you want her information, just DM me on Instagram. Probably Tiny Home Tours on Instagram would be the best if you want to get her information. I don't get any money or whatever for suggesting her. It's just, even if you don't go with her, get somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, because you could find yourself in a bad spot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Anything else to add on that, Wes?
No, I'm not really. I'm monetized on my channel, but I don't put out enough content anymore to make any substantial money. So I really don't even include that much in anything. So
I actually have one more thing to add to that. Is I was talking with her because she works with people in RVs and everything, and don't try and write off your rig a lot. Be very careful with that, because with COVID, people using their home offices as, a write-off. Unless that room is completely used for work and work only, then
Yeah.
You might find yourself in a bad spot where in a rig, your dinette is your eating area, it's your computer area. Like we're in such small spaces, it's very hard to say that corner is only for work. You know what I mean? Even if you put it up in the driver's area, you still drive there. And the IRS is looking for that this year as red flags for an audit. So don't write me too much.
Yeah. Any multi-purpose places, you just shouldn't do it. Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for that. So Dad Cam Rocks wants to know what happened to Atlas.
Sold it. Bought a bus.
That's right.
I'm just going to scroll through and keep seeing if we have any questions. Badge, do you have questions for them while I'm looking through this?
Just for off the top, like Chris, you helped Jim do his roof raise on his bus originally, right? Or they helped you?
They helped me. So actually, I think I reached out to Wes to help me with the roof raise, but at the time I think he was working on like you're doing the hot rods at the time, I believe, in Wichita. And he's like, well, I can't necessarily do it, but I was watching this guy on YouTube called Jim. Looked like he did a pretty good job. Maybe you can hit him up. So Jim had already done his roof raise, and then he helped me do the roof raise on my bus.
Right. And they're like, these roof raises are phenomenal. Like Wes has done so many now, he just pumps them out like unbelievable. And some of the cool stuff they put in, like, I'm not going to tell you what they do because you have to go look at their videos, like putting in the little hatchback windows in the roof and all that. It's pretty cool stuff. Like these guys are pioneers in this stuff, and it's unbelievable workmanship. Like it's unbelievable, totally unbelievable.
Wes is like when you're saying
Chris's bus is like I think it.
Sorry, Badge. We got a little bit of delay there, but I was just saying that Wes is definitely the craftsman, and the carpenter we're working with in Wichita is moving into the shop the 30th. Like he's the wood guy. Like what Wes and I we had this conversation right before I left on this trip. Like Wes is the implementer, and I'm the wider vision guy, and combining those two has been working out really well for us.
Yeah, we got a good yin yang type situation. Chris is the idea guy and kind of gets things rolling with reaching out to companies and social media and all that good stuff. And I'm just a dummy in the background doing all the work.
No, I'm trying to remember. Was it the two of you that did a live stream simultaneously?
Honest to God, you people have to look at their videos, like Tiny Home Tours and Wes's channels for that short bus with the raised bed. It is so cool. Like it's so cool, and nobody's ever done it before. Yeah.
Yeah, that ought to be a pretty cool build once we get her done. That one's kind of a little special.
Oh, that's
build.
Pretty sweet. The thing is sweet, boy. I'll tell you.
That's one of Chris's little special projects we're working on.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Vida?
Oh, me? Didn't you guys do live streams at the same time on each of your channels?
Yeah,
okay, I do have that right.
Yeah,
How
we
the
do
heck
that. We do that every now and then. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We were supposed to do it like every Sunday or something, but it turned out we just don't do it. So
I'd imagine
so much
it's tough.
goes on in trying to get things going, and so many different ideas we throw at each other all the time. So it's hard to really nail us down for any one thing consecutively.
Well, when you get like we're pretty much the shop. Like I'm obviously not there now, but when things are rolling, we're pretty much at the shop 7 days a week, at least. Short days are like 4 or 5 hours. And by the time you get home and you get a shower and it starts to get dark out, it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to do this live stream right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm still at the shop pretty much 7 days a week. I have been kind of implementing instead of working, all day and into the night on actual bus stuff. I'm trying to take some time for myself to do, some personal work. And I've got a Baja bug I'm working on, and we're getting the shop all cleaned up. Chris has been taking all the metal to the scrap yard, so we're getting that stuff done. I'm gonna probably have them haul all all the bus seats and all that stuff to the landfill or whatever, and get rid of a lot of that stuff. So yeah, by the time you get back, the shop ought to be nice and clean, and then Kevin hopefully will have a spot to put all his carpentry stuff in there as well. So yeah, we'll be kind of a one-stop shop before too long, I think, as long as everything works out well. Most of the projects right now that Kevin will be working on will be Chris's buses for sure for the time being. So
Chris, tell us about Zep 1. I can hardly wait. You're going to rebuild Zep 1?
That's the plan. So Brad's my videographer. So basically, like this rig I'm in right now, Zep 7. All the rigs, like we're not selling them right now. Like I was talking with Wes to possibly look into doing that raised roof schoolie with the bed lift and just selling that as a kit. Like people bring their buses in and we'll do that roof, and we might sell it that way. But right now, all the rigs I'm building, they go to my videographers and editors in exchange for them being on the team and creating content, like just surrounding myself with some talented people. But Brad went up last summer to Alaska and was traveling around in Zep 1. And this year, he's going to go up in May, be in Alaska for a month. He's going to drive it down through Canada and then to the shop in Wichita. And we're going to switch him out with one of these rigs and then have Kevin redo the interior, probably put new rims and tires on it, lift it up. Put a full Battleborn and Victron system in it, because that rig definitely has my heart. I sold it, and I told the guy, like, if you ever sell this thing, like I made him promise 3 times that I'd be the first one that he calls when he sells it. He called me up. I was like, fine. What's your PayPal email? I'll pay you right now. Stored it up there for a winter, and it's finally going to be back down in the lower 48. So that, like, Zep 1 was the first rig that I lived in full time and bounced around in. So that's like my genesis of this whole nomad thing, is that 1990 Dodge Explorer camper van.
It's pretty cool too. It needs some tender love and care and paint, but other than that, it still runs. So you make sure that Brad knows my number if he comes down, if he has any problems.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. He definitely will.
I'll definitely do some body work and put a really slick paint job on that thing. We'll make that thing look pretty good.
It's cool. It's just a cool thing, you know. I look at it like it's like putting lipstick on a pig, but the thing it just runs. It runs.
It's going to be a pretty big one.
So I want to ask you guys, how do you balance everything with YouTube and the rest of your life? Do you ever just feel like you want to run and hide sometimes, because so much of what you do is so public?
Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, number one, I'm never putting a relationship online again. I know that for sure. That's never going to happen again. If I ever find my redheaded van life girl that I will eventually marry, then yeah, like might throw that online. But I don't know. Like if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I haven't really been vlogging that much, just around the shop and kind of the stuff we're doing, because I am kind of adverse to it. Just and the main thing is, and Badge kind of alluded to this earlier, it's like when I go to campgrounds or whatever, like people, it's like hard just to have normal conversations with people. That's the hardest part for me, you know.
Yep, I agree with that. I don't really put too much of my personal life on there much anymore either. And actually, I just kind of stay away from YouTube altogether for the most part. You know, I'll post a bus build that I've done or something like that. But I don't just sit and talk to the camera, you know, a whole lot, or, you know, do any live videos too often. You know, I'll do a Q&A session here and there. I actually just did one. Actually, you popped in on one, a week and a half ago or something like that. We had Cole and Rich and Jay on there. Yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, so we do stuff like that every now and then. But for the most part, I just don't vlog my life, you know. I've got my personal life that I'm doing stuff, and you know, not that it's nobody's business, but I'm just busy, doing things. So I just don't film everything,
Yeah, I wonder how people do that, because you'll hear of some situations where everybody's got a camera, and even right now for me, I'm having I'm just at the very beginning. I have such a hard time to remember to record stuff or to record myself. Heaven forbid. I like live streams, but to record myself, oh hell no! I don't know why I don't like that.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole different role you have to play for sure. You gotta you're stepping in front of that camera with purpose, and you just can't. I don't know. For me, I see it. There's two ways. How do I word it? There's basically when you're filming all the time, you're not really living your life. You're just living the life for the video you're creating, and you're not just enjoying the moment. You know what I mean? So it separates, your body and mind in a sense.
Like the thing.
I don't like the aspect of it.
Yeah. Like the thing that it really causes a problem is like with Wes and me really, and Chris too. Well, Chris is a little different because he does a different program, but for me and Wes to do repair stuff, when you film it, you just double what it takes to do it. Like it just doubles it. So that's why when all my repair stuff is after the fact. Like when we did your ambulance, the only way that was filmed was because you did it. Because I would have never took the time to cut the wall out. I would have just cut the wall out and said I cut the wall out. But see, everybody wants to see you take the nut and put it in the bolt and so on. Right. Where I don't do that. I just cut to the chase and put it out there, right?
Yeah, I filmed that.
And like Wes will tell you, like you doing videos on a repair and showing people,
I filmed that way with my bus build. I filmed, I took each project, like say my fireplace area, that was one project, and I filmed it from start to finish. And I'd be working on something, and I turn around and shut the camera off, and the battery died in between there. So I'm like, what did I not get? So I would literally look at it, undo what I did, and put it all back together just to create a complete video for the audience. Yeah. And that happened more times than not, over and over and over again. But, I'm happy I did now, because I've got a good complete build of my entire bus, but I won't do that again for sure. It was a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing to consider, in Wes, we try to get the files over, and we probably still need to edit this thing, but just to add some context to all that. So the actual bus build, the ZEP2 build, I documented the whole thing online, doing the back and forth. But what I did is I took all that footage and condensed it down into like a montage of the build. And from the ad revenue from that montage, because you have like the 5% of people that want to watch step by step the whole thing, they'll watch the entire series. But there's the other 95% out there that just want a quick hit, whether it's people not really interested in tiny homes, or they just see the thumbnail, like, oh, I'll click on that, kind of that 95% that's not part of your tribe, if you will, or not part of the tiny home community. And I think I showed Wes some of the back-end analytics of this, but through Facebook and YouTube, doing those videos, like the montage, just finding the best parts and cutting it up, putting music behind it, that paid for over half my build. And just putting that one video, well, technically it's multiple videos, so I did different versions. I did like basically the halfway, and then I did the 3/4, and now the full version's out, and I think it has like 7 million views right now. And if you combine all those videos together, the revenue that came in from those videos, it's literally probably more than half my cost to build my entire bus, and that includes parts, material, paying people, like the actual cost.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my
the
gosh.
thing about it is that people see that, like Wes's bus or Chris's bus or Jim and Deb's or the broccoli bus. These buses are about that far from being a full-blown coach. Like Chris's is probably better than a MCI coach, a converted coach, or what's that coach they convert?
Prevo.
Prevos. These ones are Bluebird buses, but they're the same caliber as a Prevo, and they're just unbelievable. Like that's why I stopped at about 30. I can't pick any one. I can get 31s. I can get 30 buses that I call number one, because you got, Chris's and Wes's and Jim and Deb's and Steampunks and all them guys, and they're just, everyone's different, and they're all superb. And and the good thing about this is you're talking to some of the best bus builder on the planet, and they're just phenomenal, the stuff they do. Like Wes's bus is just unbelievable. Like that Snap-on box blew me away. Like I said, that's what, and I don't want a bus, but I can get into that one, So yeah,
it's because we're mechanics for sure.
Exactly.
We dig stuff for sure.
Well, check. I think I showed you, Badge, but people are starting to use these toolboxes for kitchen units too. Like,
I see that. And when you really think about, that's cool. Look at that.
That looks sweet.
That's what we need to do to yours, kiddo. Right there. Show that again.
You know what? I
Chris,
looked at some
cool.
Canadian Tire, Badge. I looked at some, and I was with my mom, and she's like, "No, that shit's gonna be too heavy."
Look at that. All done. All we have to do. That's what we need to do. That's the.
And you can sterilize that. You can. Oh, but you need to have some special cleaner for the streaks on there.
And you can lock them. Like whenever I go down the road, you can lock all the doors. Stainless steel butcher block comes with it.
Cool idea.
Yeah, that's
we're putting one in Stevie. We're putting the toolbox in the bathroom in Stevie. So yeah.
Do all of the doors lock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone. I guess it would have to for it to really work. Otherwise, you're going to have them flying open.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So we have 9 minutes left. And before I forget, oh my gosh, I want to thank you guys for being here. Like everybody in the chat, look at the 3 gorgeous men I'm sitting here with. I'm surprised my face isn't purple, let alone red right now. So if anybody has any questions, this is your last chance to type it in. Last chance. I can't believe you guys are here. Honest to goodness. Honest to goodness.
Why, we're just sitting around. We're just sitting around the campfire talking. That's all we're doing.
That's right.
Well, when I meet you guys, I'll bring you some moose milk and we'll sit around the campfire and have a couple shots.
Deal.
And they will. They'll sit right there. We'll go to Squatterville, sit around the campfire and shoot the breeze. And there won't even, the YouTube word won't even come up.
Nice.
I guarantee you.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
That's the one thing I'm always worried about, that everyone's going to have cameras. Like right now I'm in Canada, right? So it's very hard to find any van lifers near me. No. But like, I think when I get to go south, like, is it going to be weird, or people, do you have to watch every little thing you do because someone's recording it?
No, not really. No.
We go into Squatterville. There's hardly any cameras there at all. There's in Squatterville at one time, there was 125 people living there at Squatterville. That's at a mile square area there in January and February. And there was probably 90% were YouTubers, and I very seldom seen a camera out. Very seldom. They would all do their own stuff, and it was really nice. Like Chris, he pulls up beside me by the campfire and starts babbling about nothing about YouTube. And same as Wes, we'd sit there and talk about fixing stuff and how I'm going to get that Snap-on toolbox under my slide so that I don't have to put a ladder on the bed to get Elle in there. Because I'm really, that Snap-on toolbox really got me going. I tell you.
Someone just put in the chat that I should just not do anything I'm afraid of having recorded. Well, then life's no fun, Robin Jan. Like, who's always on good behavior? That's terrible.
That's right.
Terrible.
Well,
we have another question.
There's a good one.
Chris, do you have any plans to tour Alaska again post-pandemic?
Absolutely. Alaska is my favorite place in the United States for sure. Definitely want to go up there. I have a spot to park the bus. It's off-grid camping in this spot, and the sockeye salmon run through there. You can do snagging. It's basically brackish water. You get treble hooks about this big, and you see on low tide their backs. You cast out in front of them, wait for them to come. You get a limit per 6 per day, and when it's a heavy run, you can get your 6 fish in about 15 minutes. So I'm definitely going back to Alaska. Going to take the bus up. just right now, like with Wes and all the stuff happening, like just business wise, it doesn't make sense for me to be gone for an entire summer. It's basically just putting that work in, and it's one of those things where I love the work right now more than I would love snagging sockeye salmon and missing out on building everything that's happening. So eventually.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
So we're gonna just take one last
one
question.
thing with Chris. He actually does like to sit down and just be in front of his computer. He mentioned, it's kind of like a video game for him. He gets on this little magic box and just moves things around on his little screen like a video game, and and it's just a test to see what works and what doesn't work. So
absolutely.
But he's so good at it. He's so good at it, though.
Well, I'm wondering what Chris is doing right now. I see you moving something all the time. What are you?
It's just an extension.
In the next video.
I'm always fidgeting. Wes knows that too. I'm always fidgeting with something.
Me too.
I'll behave. I'm sorry, Wes.
That's right. We're usually always playing with something, both of us. So.
I bet you guys were high energy as children, weren't you?
I definitely was. I was ADHD, honestly, and I got put on Ritalin when I was in grade school for a year and a half, and finally parents realized it wasn't doing me any good, so took me off of and just let me be who I am. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
Well, and it turned into something like what you guys are doing. It's positive, whether someone puts it into sports or what they're focused on, right? Because you really do zero in on those things that are key to you. But I could tell that you guys were both probably a handful. I'm sorry, I'm a social worker. I pick up on some stuff sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt.
Definitely.
So Blind Views wonders about how secure a bus entry door is. That side door on the bus. You
can lock them up pretty good. I think Chris has got a pretty decent system locked up on his bus for sure. I don't remember the name of that lock. It's a little round master lock.
Yeah, it's American lock, and I welded in angler steel on the bottom portion. But the thing is, and like what Wes always tells everybody, I'm going to parrot you here, Wes. If somebody wants to get into your bus, they're going to get into it to where for me, like at our shop, we have a security system. I bought the cameras for the same in my bus. As long as you have an internet source, it'll alert you to movement. And basically what I'm going to do is put a camera facing outside that door and a camera right down the hallway of that bus. So whenever I leave, I can just arm it. And then anything, because I leave my bus out in the middle of nowhere. Like in Montana, one of my favorite boondocking spots, I would leave and take Kobuk to the dog park pretty much every day. And I'd come over a hill and be like, please still be there. Please still be there. Like literally, because I mean, these buses aren't too hard to steal when it comes down to it. And if somebody wants to get in, I mean, you have the emergency exits, you have windows, you have the rear emergency exit. And really the only thing you can do is have security cameras. And while I'm in the bus, I can't speak for Wes here, or I won't speak for Wes here. I believe in the Second Amendment, and we're pretty much strapped here in the States. So I'm good. if you know what I mean.
Hint, everybody.
So, I mean, but it's like I don't really worry about it.
Yeah, there's if somebody wants in your bus, the entry door is the least of the concerns, honestly.
Yeah, I guess if there's a will, there's a way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's windows on these things, and they break really easy. Yeah, the escape hatches on the roofs too are a thing. It's just a piece of plastic. You jump right through that thing. So it's I don't have any on my bus. I'd remove them, but there's more than one way to get into one. So
Badge and I are doing some work on my ambulance. He's kind of started with some stuff, but yeah, like if I'm going to be out there by myself, I want to make sure I'm somewhat
I'll be out
secure.
there for a while now. I thought I was going to be there for like a week or so, but it sounded like I might be there a lot longer now.
You're just moving on in. UNL, come on
Yeah,
down.
I know. Yeah, just remember, I need 30 amp service and a sewer line. You got it.
Yeah, Paula, also a German Shepherd is a really good security system too.
True.
I have two little Shih Tzus. I don't know how threatening they are.
Well,
There's jackrabbits out here that are bigger.
the thing is, like they can bark and alert you. Sometimes that's all you
True.
need to get in the driver's seat
Yeah.
and get away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's
Yeah.
a good point.
I have 2 cats that
That
could
is a
care
good
less
one.
if there's somebody outside the door.
Sneaking cats.
Sorry.
I asked
All
Chris.
right.
Chris is not a cat guy at all, but I asked him. I called him. I said, "Hey, man, would you mind letting my cats out? Because they've been in there all day." And he went and tried to let him out, but they just stared and just looked and stared at him. They didn't try to get out or anything. So he just closed the door. It's like, whatever.
I just
Crazy.
shook
If
my
you
head
guys
and
want
walked
to
away.
hang tight when we end the stream, we can still chat, but we do have to call it an end. Unfortunately, we're going to do a raid on Van Life Agena. So if you guys take a look at the top of the chat, I have pinned that link directly to her live stream. If you want to click on that, let her know that Van Vida sent you. And you guys, thank you so much. This meant the world to me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for
a
having us.
lot. Anytime.